Good morning. Thank you everyone for joining us. We already have Donna White watching from work. Xavier, good morning, watching from work. Amy, good morning from Nevada, Texas. Thank you for joining us this beautiful morning.
Mr. William, good morning. It is cold.
It is cold. William, good morning. I'm having a hard time sharing this, so do you want to get started while I just finally share this?
Well, first, very proud
There it is.
today. I've been very proud lately because the Buffalo Bills are doing just absolutely phenomenal. And I do realize that it isn't the best place to be a Buffalo Bills fan in Dallas, Texas. But I am, so.
Good morning, Josiah.
Josiah Miller, my brother.
We love you. Good morning, Shanae. Thank you for always tuning in. We love you. Every time Josiah says that's right, I can hear him saying that's right. So today we're going to be talking about, it's not that cold in Laredo, no. It's not. My family's in San Antonio right now, and they're in t-shirts, and it's hot out there, so they're just whatever. I like the cold though. This morning we're going to be talking about something that I think we've addressed before, but we want to talk about it a little bit more just because of things that have been going on. We're not blind to what's going on in society, and we're not blind to what's been going on in our nation. But, Heath King, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I've been seeing, especially with my generation and the generations after me, the younger ones, that we have several opinions, or we have things that we are standing on that we are not, that we're kind of just following the crowd, I guess. And it's not very biblical. And I'm realizing that a lot of things that the younger generation is reposting, or that their opinion is based on either something they're seeing on social media, something they're seeing on TV, something they're seeing with the shows that they watch, something they're seeing with just the people that they follow and celebrities that they follow. So we're going to tackle a couple of people, a couple of shows that that we think are worth mentioning.
So just to get this off, this is going to be a little bit different than the live stream that we normally do. This is just really going to be an educational thing. When I was younger, my dad used to give these parent conferences, and they'd really just be like a one long day, like a Monday, or I don't know what it would be. And he would educate them on things that they might have overseen, things that they might not have known, things that they might not have known that their kids were exposed to, but that they really are. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be talking about a handful of things that I've personally heard. And the reason why we're specifically talking about these things today is because these are the things that we've heard mentioned before. I've heard students, and I'm not going to rat anybody out, but I've heard students talking about specific things. And no, I'm not going to say anything.
Or we follow obviously several students, and we see them repost things, and we're like what? Why are you posting that? So we just want to kind of talk about that topic. Shirley Knuckles, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Lainey, good morning.
Good morning, Lainey.
But do you want to get started with the first one?
Yeah, so of course the first one, we're going to be talking about this. There's a young man born January 5th in 1969 in Canton, Ohio. This young man was born into an Assemblies of God, which is my background and my wife's background. We come from an Assemblies of God church, which is, for the most part, a spirit-filled denomination.
Pentecostal, yeah.
Or a Pentecostal denomination. And the reason why this young man was a man named Brian Hugh Warner. And he was a part of Royal Rangers. He was a part of his parents were a part of this. And somewhere along the way, you know what? Real quickly, Laney, pull up a picture of Brian Hugh Warner. There he is. There he is. Is it like that? Oh no, it's like that. This is Brian Hugh Warner.
Brooke, good morning. Thank you for joining us today, Brooke.
Good morning.
We love you.
Brooke. Good morning, Sandman. This young man was to grow up. Something happened to him. Now, what it is, that it's not too clear. He has his autobiography, and going through his autobiography, he had kind of mentioned that he had had enough. He kind of mentioned that there are certain things that people in the church that offended him. Well, the point I'm trying to make is this young man gets so hurt to the point, and not, it doesn't just hurt him, but it ends up hurting his family too. The family leaves the church, but the reason why it's so important and why whoever did whatever they did, they messed up with this young man, is that this young man could have been spectacular. This young man had a potential that no one saw because, no one noticed. But I believe that there is a huge plan that God had for this young man's life.
Yeah.
Well, this young man, he leaves the church, something happens to him, and he ends up becoming the complete opposite of that. And show him what he looks like today, Lainey. That is Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson was ordained by, what's his name? Timothy LaHaye. Timothy LaHaye is the founder of the Satanic Church. Marilyn Manson is infamous for getting kids to denounce their religion. I know that in his band, each member has to denounce Christ before they're even able to join the band. Now, Marilyn Manson, he had to change his name. Everybody in his band has changed their name to a famous serial killer and then a sex symbol. So, Charles Manson, Marilyn Monroe.
LaVey, yeah.
Anton LaVey. It's Anton LaVey. Thank you, Dad. I told you he used to get these. And he gets Marilyn Manson. Now, Marilyn Manson has a couple famous quotes, and I'm not exactly sure how much I'm actually allowed to say here. So I'm going to play this as carefully as I can, because if I get down to it, there's a couple other pictures that I wanted to show. But I think for a Friday morning, it's a little bit too heavy, and it's a little bit too vulgar. So we'll probably have to give this in person separately, and because I don't know who's watching right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to watch this. But Marilyn Manson came out with a very popular, famous quote that he says that he would love to be known as a man who put an end to the Christian church. Now, Marilyn Manson defiles a Bible in every one of his shows by regurgitating up on it, by, tearing it, covering his genitals with it. He defiles a Bible, and one day he was being interviewed by somebody, and the person says, "How dare you destroy the Bible?" I mean, it's like the Quran. It's not, how dare you destroy a Bible? How dare you do that? And he says, look, I just destroy a book. I destroy a book. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at Christians who are supposed to live by the Bible and don't. What I do is I destroy a book. When they do, they destroy what the book means. And everybody for a second was like, oh, man.
And if you see interviews of him, he's a very well-spoken, very well-educated man. And
he's not disrespectful.
He's not disrespectful. But the point is that, this man grew up in the AG church, and somewhere along the way, in his youth, something went wrong. He got hurt, he got offended, and that wasn't healed or handled properly. Something happened, and it completely took him on a different path that, he is today. And it's very eye-opening to see that someone who belonged in the church, someone who definitely had a calling from God, completely went the opposite direction and is serving the opposite purpose.
Can you put the next slide of him? This is coming from a guy who used to be part of the AG church. There it is. As you can tell, he no longer serves the assemblies of God. And you might not know, or you might not understand, you might not pay too much attention to this, but the truth of the matter is that everything that you've taught your kids, they've been exposed against. Now, I always say that if I were to go to the gym and I worked out really hard for one day, do I have the right to expect a physical transformation that same day? No. No, I don't. I mean, people will come and what I'm noticing is that your personal time is not it's not pushed, it's not forced, it's not real. I don't want to say forced, but it's not really reminded or encouraged. And so many times you're expecting your kid to have the right walk with God when the most that they're getting is me and my wife
on
Wednesday nights
or Sunday mornings. Yeah, and it's hard because even for services, we can preach the best message that we ever have, and the Holy Spirit can move and wreck them, and they go back to their schools, and some students even go back home, and it completely, like, it's the opposite message of what we preach. So it's sad. Like, you can what's the word? You can expose your kids or teach them, but then just on their phone in seconds, that could be everything that you're teaching them. They can view the opposite on their phone. Like,
now, we are giving them an hour. We have an hour twice. We have an hour on Wednesday and an hour on Sunday. And we have 2 hours in a week to go against a week's worth of nonsense that's being fed to them with this thing. And we can do as best as we could, but what would really help us is if you just educate yourselves. Is if you just learn. Go on your kids' Spotify and look what they're listening to. You want to know why they're so aggressive? What are they listening to? You want to know why they're saying the things that they're saying? Look at what they're listening to. Okay? That's a real big topic. But a couple of years ago, there was a Cartoon Network show called Adventure Time. Can you put that up, Lainey? This is it. This is Adventure Time. A lot of good memes from this show. This show was introduced through Cartoon Network. It was intended for elementary school to early middle school. And this show was the first show to incorporate a same-sex kiss on Cartoon Network. Can you put the next slide? This is them. And I remember when this came out. Now, the show has been canceled since then, but it still airs. It's still airing, and, you might not think a big deal of it, but, on this network, on YouTube, on whatever they have, this is what it's being exposed to. This is what's being taught as the norm. It's being, received as it's okay. It's being received as this. And you know what? To many people, that is okay. To many people, that is it. But you know what? That's not what you've raised your kids. That's not what we taught our kids. That's not what this says. And, other parents might not have an issue with it. But what I'm telling you is if you're not those other parents and you do have an issue with something like that, you need to make sure that you know. Now, the next show I'm going to talk about is a show called Steven Universe. Steven Universe. And this show incorporates the first same-sex marriage on a elementary school cartoon. Can you put that up for us, Lainey? There it is. Oh, I was looking. It's Steven Universe. If you can look at the very corner, let me see if I got right here. That is a Cartoon Network logo. This was a Cartoon Network special. They made a big deal about this episode because of what was happening. Those are 2 girls that got married. The Steven Universe also explores other aspects of sexuality. Can you put the next one, Lainey? It's funny, but this is intended for your kids. And I don't know if I have to really describe what's wrong with this picture. Anything to say?
Growing up, we're not telling you to ban your kids from what the culture, what they're being exposed to, but definitely be aware, because there's always an extreme to both sides, letting them do whatever they want and then destroying everything they have, banning everything, punishing them for everything, and that may cause rebellion. We're asking you parents to pray, to really pray and seek the Lord for wisdom on how to handle these situations, because I remember growing up and I don't know I don't remember what church we were in, but my mom heard a message about how like Disney is just demonic. Like Disney movies are just demonic. So she went home and destroyed all her Disney movies. Like I remember that day very vividly. And then later on, you know, she relaxed and she like let us, you know, like she just trusted in us to watch the right things. But it's definitely a topic that we need to be aware of because believe it or not, like I don't know if you guys follow your own kids on social media, but I've seen some of our City Youth students post things about like being pro LGBTQ community.
Vote like your sister's LGBT. Vote like your brother's transgender. And like, this is coming from a 13-year-old.
Being like students that aren't even ready to vote, students that are still in middle school, and they're posting things that they are pro gay rights, pro gay marriage, pro transgender, pro choice. So and that shocks you, and then that might be your child.
My dad says that if we're not going to train up our children, someone will. Someone is. What I really urge is monitor their phones. Monitor their phones. Well, it's because I think that's an invasion of privacy, and I don't want to give them an invasion of privacy. Come in. Yeah, you have to. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, I'm supposed to be here. This is a first for us. Why did the TV go out?
It's back up. But it's very real, like, and it's a very true situation, and it's true for anything. Like, if you're not being intentional with your kid, someone else has an agenda to get your kid.
And I had mentioned about monitoring their phone. And, you know, when you're worried about their invasion of privacy, and that's something, you know, like to take into consideration. But at what point do you decide that, okay, either I invade their privacy or I just don't know what they're being exposed to? And I think educating yourself and knowing what's happening, besides you're the boss, you're the parent. If my dad had a right to barge into my room whenever he felt necessary, then by golly, you have the right to do that too. If you're paying for that phone, you have the right to do that. If you're the parent, if your child is a minor, you have the right to do that. And you know what? Even though I'm not a minor anymore, my mom still tells me what to do.
You know, Brooke Bowers just said, it's crazy what some of her high school students say. And she's a high school teacher, and she can probably attest to this and say if it's true or not. But the way we grew up in, just think about it. I was out of, what year is it? I graduated high school in 2010. So what, 11 years ago? And then middle school was even before that. But just from that amount of time, middle school and high school is very different than from when I was there. The things that were exposed to us as middle school students, or I'll say this, the things that I learned in high school and was exposed to, kids are learning that in 5th, 6th grade. That's how advanced they are. That's how exposed they are. That's how much they are learning. And it's very sad for me because we'll talk to middle school students, and I'm shocked with some of the conversations of like, how do you know that already? Like, how are you hearing that topic already?
I can already guarantee that there are a handful of parents that really don't know what their kids know right now. They don't know. And I'll tell you this, your kids ain't dumb.
Yeah, no. Give them dumb. Sometimes you don't give them enough credit because they are not full. They're not fools.
Yeah, they're not dumb, and they're not gonna say certain things in front of you because they know. And
we're telling you this too because I mean we went through it as well.
No, yeah, definitely. The next one I'm gonna go over is which one is it, Lainey?
Peter Griffin.
Yeah, there you go. Pull up Peter Griffin.
Family Guy.
This is Peter Griffin. Boy, Lainey's having a hoot back here.
It is a funny show. I mean, it's not my favorite show, but
no,
it's dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid. But the reason why I'm talking about this specific fat man here is because, it's not intended for kids. but your kids are watching. This man, when I was younger, there was a show called The Fairly Odd Parents. The dad was a complete Nimrod. Jimmy Neutron.
No,
the dad
it was
Who's laughing so hard?
It was not Neutron. It was
Jimmy Neutron. The dad's dumb.
not The Fairly Odd Parents.
The dad was stupid in The Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, I don't remember them.
The dad's dumb. Jimmy Neutron. The dad's dumb. What was it? Home Improvement. Tim Allen was stupid.
Yeah.
And if you do pull up any show, the father figure is going to be an idiot. The father figure, the Bible says that the man is the head of the household. That he is the priest of his household. And that's being attacked. The father figure is being attacked. I mean, I watched something, there was a TikTok of this guy going through his son's Google searches. And the searches were like boobs and how do I fight my dad?
Yeah.
And why am I saying this? I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this because everything that you think is being undermined. It's being undermined. You might not think they watched this show. I've heard them mention it. You can watch a lot of things on YouTube. TikTok. If your daughter is a minor and has TikTok, delete it. Delete it. Take their phones and delete their TikTok. TikTok is vile.
Listen, and you might think, well, they're just watching funny stuff and I just hear them laughing. Okay, that's fine. But you have no idea the kind of content that is also on there. Like, and I'm telling you, there's pages on Instagram that it'll be memes, and then like nudes, something super graphic in the same page, in the same post. And those are the things that your kids are following. And those are the things that you're teaching against.
Young boys, if they have a TikTok, your young boys are watching half-naked girls dance. There are minors that are on that are posting... I really don't want to get into too much of the graphics of what the trends are, but it really just is. It gets down just to vile, you know. And I'm just straight up, no responsible parent will let their kid have TikTok. Straight up. The next one is it's Sabrina, right, Lenny? This show came out when I was very young. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Y'all remember that one? With the cat that was super funny, right? Now, at this point, you know, there are people preaching against it at this point, right? Like, do you remember, like, oh my God, she's a teenager and a witch. There are people preaching against this at this time, but little did they know that years later it would be remade onto Netflix. Now, before I show the next slide of this one, and this really is a straight up clip from the show. You know what, Lenny? Put it up. I'll let that speak for itself for a second. This is Sabrina the Teenage Witch now. That is a statue of Lucifer. In this series, Sabrina works for Satanists. How do I know? Because I saw it. And I really couldn't believe how darker and darker and darker it got. But I wanted to know. Why did I want to know? Because I've seen so many posts about this show. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is a spin-off in this one of a show called Riverdale. Y'all have heard of Riverdale before. Riverdale is based on those old comic book strips with Archie and Jughead. They're not those innocent comic book strips anymore. If you go to Hot Topic right now, you will find merchandise for Sabrina and Riverdale. They sell pentagrams for Sabrina, not for Riverdale, but Sabrina. You can buy little pentagrams and it has Sabrina's logo on it. Cute little pentagrams. And there are kids who don't know what they're walking around with. But they're announcing who they support. There it is. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What's the next one, lady?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Out.
Oh, yeah. There you go. This one, Lainey was confused about too. Just recently, Disney Plus came out with a Pixar short. It's called Out. Now, I thought to myself when I saw that, like, is that what I think it means? Can you go to the next slide? This is a clip from that short. It is about two gay men coming out on Disney Plus. A Pixar short that is a recommended watch for young kids, that they now think that this is appropriate to educate on sexual preferences. Even HBO Max has an option to allow what your kids are able to watch. But Disney Plus came out with this. Now, I'm going to have a bunch of parents be, oh my God, I'm deleting Disney Plus. Gilbert Mendes, very professional. He just got married. I'm going to have all the parents like, oh, I'm going to be deleting Disney Plus because I didn't know they had something like that. Well, if that's the case, while you're at it, delete Hulu, delete Netflix, delete your Spotify, delete your Amazon, delete everything. And you're going to be finding yourself deleting everything. And then you're gonna be like, I'm gonna delete everything, and my kids, I'm gonna protect them. And no, you're not. They're gonna find it somewhere else. Guarantee, promise, 100% or your money back. They will find it somewhere else. So what I'm telling you is know what's out there and educate the opposite way. So you see that short there? We don't believe in that. This short there is telling you it's okay. This tells you it's not. And because this isn't the norm, because this isn't socially okay, you're being taught against it. It's up to you. It's up to you. We can only have them for 2 hours. If you raise your kids on just VeggieTales, that is not a very good life.
For the kid.
For the kids. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Look, we're not saying to shelter your kids and like block them off from culture and block. No, they have to be educated and exposed to.
Oh, the contrary.
I believe firmly that they have to be exposed and aware, but they have to know that this is greater than anything else that they encounter, and that's what starts at home. That this goes above everything else that they hear, everything else that they see, that they have a conviction built in them that when they see that, they know that's not okay. Because the problem is that they're seeing these things and they think it's okay because that's what everyone is sharing, that's what everyone is posting, that's what everyone is talking about, and that's what's okay in their schools, that's what's okay with their friends, that's what's okay on social media. That's what's okay on all the TV shows. So they have to have an inner conviction, and that can only come if you instill that as a parent in them.
Monitor what they're watching. Monitor what they're listening to. Educate yourself with what's out there because of what's being said. You wouldn't... It would surprise you, the things that are being said. And I mean, remember how vulgar it was when you were in high school. You remember that? When you were in high school, it wasn't the social norm to be okay with same-sex marriage. Now, even the Bible says it was going to happen. What is wicked will become what's right. What is right will become what is wicked. It comes with the territory. Is that Misael, my student?
I think so.
Misael Reyes?
Yeah, I completely agree. He said, my parents learned that keeping us in a bubble wasn't the healthiest way of raising us. We're not ready for the real world once we're all grown up. And I 100% agree with you.
When you are finally exposed, I'm not going to mention her by name, but there was a specific student who was very well sheltered. Misael, man, I love you. It's nice to see you, hear from you. This is one of my students. I used to teach high school. Parents need to watch TV with their kids, not let the TV raise your kids for you. So many times you pass them your iPad just to keep them quiet. That is a mistake. Misael, I completely agree with you. I had a student, or I knew a young lady who was a sheltered Christian young lady, very sheltered. One thing it started off is that their parents got her phone. They found out she was sending nudes to people. And when that person went off to go to college, she completely turned the other way. Talking completely liberal, opened up her sexuality. And what's terrible is that I love her.
Yeah.
She's a good girl. And because all of everything at once was exposed to her, look at Katy Perry. Look at Katy Perry. If you don't know the story about Katy Perry's not really her real name. Katy Perry is the daughter of an AG pastor. Exposed to the music world, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, because here's if we're just being super realistic and super practical, you're gonna have your kids and raising them and teach them and trying to discipline them in their elementary, middle school, high school years, and as soon as they go off to college, if they go off to a different campus, if they go off away from home, they are going to have the freedom and the ability to choose however they think they should choose.
I've had a handful of students, and I know parents, I will not reveal who they are. That's up for you to find out. That ask me why smoking weed is bad, a sin. And I told them, does your mom and your dad want you to smoke weed? Do they say it's okay? They say no. Dude, that alone is a sin.
Yeah, so, and we've seen it time and time again where parents, and we've seen both sides. Parents let their kids do whatever they want. It goes wrong. Parents are over, just controlling, and it goes bad because then the kid rebels because they felt like they had, just controlling parents.
And please don't get the mistake. We're not telling you what to do.
No.
We're telling you, educate yourself and use wisdom. Pray. Get before the Lord. There isn't anything that can be spoken by somebody that can be the perfect information. It has to be customizable from the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and God has to let you know and tell you what to do. This right here is the ultimate parenting book. And how can you expect God to be close with your kids if you have no idea what his voice even sounds like? If you've ever wanted to hear God's audible voice, read this out loud. Read the verse real quick.
Verse for the day, verse for all the parents. Proverbs 22:6. We know this verse. I'm trying to find the translation. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he shall not depart from it. And there's if you just look up different translations, it's all train up, teach a child, point your kids in the right direction. And then one says, if you train them, then they won't depart. It's a responsibility as a parent. And we're not parents, we're not telling you how to raise your child, how to raise your children. But we are telling you that biblically, you are the one responsible for training up your child. You are the one responsible for instilling. Look, and we have students that their parents don't come to church. We have students that no one in their family is a Christian. And in that sense, in that situation, then yes, we have to go the extra mile. We follow up, we go through. But this isn't for those parents. Yeah, but for the parents that are believers, Christians, and that they serve here and that they are devoted and that they want to raise children the right way, it is your responsibility to do it. It is not up to them to figure it out. It is not up to just us to instill this purpose, this word. what we
And it's
do,
not up to someone else to raise your kids.
No, what we do is really just we should be reiterating what's being said at home.
Yeah. We should just be confirming everything that you've already spoken about.
And it's I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the things that we've preached, some of the things that we've teach, it's their first time hearing it here at church. Some of the scriptures that we read, it's their first time hearing it here at church. And it starts at home. When
a good friend of mine, his name is Sammy Velez, he is the executive pastor at CITC Misericordia. When he was young, he would beat the snot out of his brother Andrew. And Pastor Velez came to my father and said, Pastor Jeff, do you have any videos? Because Sammy's obsessed with Ninja Turtles. He'll watch an episode of Ninja Turtles, look at his little brother and say, like, come on, Shredder, and like just beat the snot out of Andrew. And so my dad says, I have some videos, and he has those old Bible stories, the animated Bible stories. You remember those? They don't remember those? Like at the end of everyone's like, when God comes through, like these super cheesy, like it's always the same. And so my dad lent him like David versus Goliath, and it's funny because it's the truth, right? And they put them in, and Sammy sits down and he watches David versus Goliath, and the movie finishes, and then like the Nest Entertainment, thanks Dad, and when that's done, he looks over at Andrew and says, "Come on, you Philistine!" and beats the snot out of him again. And so, please understand, sometimes, when we grew up, my dad was adamant about us not watching Pokemon. Us having no part of Pokemon. I was in 5th grade. It was all about Pokemon. Dragon Ball Z, I was okay not watching because it was just yelling all the time. It was just nonsense. But Pokemon? And so I didn't understand why. He understood why. Pokemon's not really a big deal to students right now. The biggest thing is Pokemon Go. But that's even died down quite significantly. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm not going to reveal which student, but my brother, which child of my father's, but my brother, he wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon. Just I'm sorry, I love you so much. I'm ratting you out because like you ratted me out. But when we grew up, we weren't allowed to watch Pokemon. As soon as my brother was able to do so, he completely dived into it. He completely submerged himself into it, and
he's still there.
I know. I remember. It's Pokemon means pocket demon, yes, but there really is such a repertoire of information that we can provide to you. We're not trying to make lighthearted of it. Honest to God, if we really spoke about the details of all of this, certain things will make you nauseous. Okay. Wonder Woman. I wasn't going to go over this. Wonder Woman. There's a comic book series called The Red Sun. And this is the first series, and then New 52 and comic books right now, Wonder Woman is bisexual. Wonder Woman's bisexual. There's a show on the WB, the CW, and it's called Batwoman. Batwoman is an open lesbian. As it is, and I don't know if my dad knows this, but in DC Comics, there's a certain extended universe where Batman is now transgender. I know, right? It just gets worse and worse and worse. Green Arrow, not Green Arrow, what was it? Green Lantern. Green Lantern in Earth 1, meaning the original Green Lantern, is gay. Openly gay.
Yeah, and if you do your research, you'll find something negative and something anti-biblical
about everything.
And everything.
Even Spider-Man.
And everything. And what we're telling you to do is not to deny your kids or cut them off or to completely block everything. But what we're telling you is for you to do your own research of what your kids' interests are, what they're watching, what they're listening to. Follow the artists on social media. Follow them on Instagram. See what they're posting, because you will start noticing patterns, and you will start noticing that maybe the things that your kids are saying, their opinions, their attitudes are related to what they're watching and what they're listening to.
We had a 13-year-old young lady posting anti-Donald Trump posts. And you know, sometimes, you know, you can't really avoid what that guy says. Like, that's just, you know. But we have 13-year-olds posting political posts. And when you go on her account, there's a specific character that they keep posting about. And I want you to pull her up right now, Lainey, please. There she is.
Billie Eilish. If you don't know, Billie Eilish is a artist, a musician.
She's very young.
She's very young. She is very talented. She's phenomenal.
And I'm gonna just shut up. She's got some good beats sometimes.
She's good. But the issue that, one, her music can be a little bit graphic.
There's a song called Good Girls. Good Girls. There's a song called Bad Guy. Bad Guy, I guarantee you've heard it on the radio. If you've been on the radio, you've passed through it before. Bad Guy talks about preferring other women's men. She says, I'm the bad guy.
But Billie Eilish, the issue that, I mean, we see with Billie Eilish is that on her Instagram and on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, she's constantly posting about how Trump is such an idiot. And
shut the F up.
And she's constantly posting about how Republicans are just extremely wrong, to put it in like the nicest terms. But she's constantly going against Republicans, constantly going against Trump, constantly going against anything that you teach, I can guarantee. But I'm not saying she has an agenda, but she's very open and she's very vocal about her political beliefs. And
your kids are listening. There's a song called Good Girls where he's talking about girls that behave, go to heaven, but they have no fun. And everyone in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, like, it's just impossible to avoid this one. Taylor Swift, man, who doesn't know Taylor Swift?
She tweeted the November, you're out of here.
Yeah, no, she's extremely political, and, you know, everyone knows her, everyone may follow her on Instagram, and she posts a lot of political stuff.
And if you want to have your own beliefs, you have your own beliefs. I'm just telling you, know what's being said. Just know what's being said. You don't believe in Twitter? You don't like Twitter? You're too old for Twitter? Get a Twitter and know what your kids are following and know what's being said.
Amy asked, would y'all do a roundtable teaching on a deeper level? We would love to talk to you guys more if you want information. Like, I mean, we're not saying we know it all, but we do watch things. We do follow people. We are aware. We listen to different stuff and watch different stuff, and we're just seeing more and more how openly they are about their political views, about their LGBTQ views, about everything that we're teaching against.
I don't agree with being naive. I think it's important to know what's being said. I think it's important. Even right now, there's accusations that Kanye West has had sexual relations with Jeffree Star. You know, parents don't know that. Your kids do.
So we're gonna. Yeah, almost everyone on Twitter is very political, very open, and
everyone except Chris Pratt, my man.
Chris Pratt is pretty cool, but the whole point of this talk is for you to know that you might think you're doing enough for your child and that you have it under control, but if they are exposed to anything on social media that you are not aware of, it might go in through one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And we notice it because it's like that even for our services. Like, we preach something and we just, we see that some students are just not there, and that but their Instagram, we really know where they're standing. But the one that I saw, I'm going to say about the Cardi B one.
Oh, yeah. So
Cardi B, I don't know if y'all know who Cardi B is, but she is a very famous, like, everyone knows who she is.
We'll talk to them about doing a roundtable, because if we want to talk about what Cardi B's about. We can't talk about it.
Yeah, we can't even. Yeah, but Cardi B, she's a musician, rapper. She's very popular. She has a lot of hits like on music. But there's one of her latest songs that is very graphic, very vulgar. We can't even repeat it on air right now. We can't even like go into detail. But
man, lady, you know what's up today, don't you?
Love you, Brooke. Good luck in class. But Cardi B, she's very graphic in the song, very vulgar, very sexual, and she kind of was in a lot of heat this week or lately because she was posting a video of her singing to her own song and dancing to her own song at her house. And she was going hard, drinking, singing, and her kid walks in from behind her and comes out on the video screen, and she's like, hey!
No. And she stops the song.
And she stops the song, she stops everyone. And that video goes viral and she started getting a lot of heat, a lot of criticism saying like, wow, like, you won't let your own daughter hear your music, but you let everyone else's daughter hear your music. And she posted something as a reply, because someone called her out saying like, so your daughter can't listen to it, but everyone else's daughter can. Okay, exactly what I've been saying. You have an agenda to push. So then Cardi B responds to that, and she says, I don't make music for kids. I make music for adults. Parents are responsible on what their children listen to or see. I am a very sexual person, but not around my children, just like every other parent should be. So Cardi B comes out with this statement of like, yeah, I make this graphic sexual music, but I don't make it for kids. And she's essentially calling out all parents of like, dude, like every parent should be responsible enough to know what their kids see and listen to. And if someone, I mean, like no disrespect or anything, but if someone like Cardi B can have that common sense of my kids shouldn't be listening to this, how much more us that are trying to instill biblical and godly values in them in a world that is just growing evil and more evil every day. And we have to be, and this is the sad truth, we have to be more intentional with our kids than the world is. Because everyone else, I guarantee
it's marketed, it's designed, and it's designed for them.
Yeah,
it's not designed for you.
Did you know that even the people that created these devices, the people that are rich and banking on iPhones and iPads and TVs and programs, they have come out publicly and said, I don't let my kids be on that more than 30 minutes a day.
There are certain people that don't even allow their kids to have the phone. But they made it.
The people that have created devices, the people that have created TVs and shows and all these things that are rich, banking off of your own money, they themselves have come out and made statements of like, yeah, we have a rule in our house that they can't be on that device for more than X amount of time because we know the effects of it.
You should, and why are we saying this? Why are we saying this? Lainey, put one more time that picture of Brian. That's why we're saying this. That's why. Because let me get the next one ready. Went from here to here. Put the next one.
And just think about it. Like, even now, that's someone's kid. Like, someone as a mother and a son and a father has to live knowing that they were in the church trying to raise a child, and this is where he ended up in.
The picture we were going to use is he's using a Bible to cover his privates. I thought it wise not to put that. And it might seem extreme right now, and that's exactly how you would want to be perceived. Oh, don't be such an extremist. You know, and it is true. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. But that little boy didn't have to end up here. There was an interview on a talk show where this mom is yelling at Marilyn Manson. And he's calm. In every single interview I've seen, he's calm. He's real respectful. He's educated. He's smart.
Yeah, he's extremely smart.
And she says, you know, my daughter was raised to be Christian, and now she's not, and she wants to be Satanist because of you. You know, like, you took her religion, you took her religion, you took her religion. And he says, like, you know, I just want to open up the minds and maybe tell you guys, maybe that wasn't your daughter's religion. It was yours. And that's what's being said. Maybe Jesus is for your parents and not for you. Use wisdom. Be smart. Love you, Dad. We'll talk to Pastor, see what we can do about doing a roundtable, about doing maybe even just a presentation, about, you know, getting a little bit more graphic and exactly exposing what it is, from this to Halloween to everything that we can talk about. It's not so good, and I get a little angry and a little nauseous talking about all these things, but we will. Recommend watch is, if you get a chance on Amazon, buy a movie called Furious Love. That's a recommend watch. It's called Furious Love. Another one to watch is a Father of Light. If you want to just kind of start seeing the gritty side of what's happening, watch those two movies. Why don't you go check out Parents? Go check that out. You know, that's what's being exposed to. Learn, educate. Just learn. Know what's being said. Know what's being listened to. Look at what's on their Spotify. Check their search history. Look. And then, you know, my dad taught me a lot of things. And even when I, you know, messed up in my high school and my middle school years, and even in my college years, and even in years that I'm not too proud to say were very long ago, and I came forward with them, the way he responded to all those things is really what made an impact on me. And that grace that was shown upon me, I have that grace on other people now. And don't be angry. Don't be angry. I mean, just Mr. Rogers says it the best. I think the number one mistake parents make is to forget what it was like to be that age. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. This is for giving. You can just text to give up here. We have some other announcements.
Giving information is up on the screen. There's several ways that you can give. Announcements. New members class starts January 17th, and it's 3 Sundays in a row at 9 a.m. in the conference room. You can sign up in the main foyer. If you are not a member yet and you have been coming here for a while, I encourage you and I urge you to go take those classes. There's just 3 classes, and then Pastor will pray for you and take communion with you, and you will become a covenant member of the church. And it's such a blessing to be an official covenant member. So I encourage you to take those classes. Also, this Sunday, there will be a memorial service for Rob Allen Kirkies. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is this Sunday at 3 p.m. Family, friends, and church family are invited to attend. Social distancing will be in place. Also, D groups, spring semester starting back February 7th. So if you're wondering when D groups will start up again, it is February 7th at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And we are in the middle of the 21 days of fasting and prayer. So if you haven't already joined us, we encourage you to join us for fasting and prayer. It ends January 20th. So you still have a couple of days to join us on that. We have prayer services here at Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. So if you need prayer, or if you want to join us in prayer, you can come and pray with us. But we want to pray for you, parents. You know, I think it really takes wisdom directly from the Holy Spirit, directly from God, directly from His Word, to know how to approach the situation. Because, You know, sometimes it can be uncomfortable for us, or sometimes it could be a little nerve-wracking for us to approach students about it. And I can't even imagine what it's like for parents to have to deal with these topics with your kids. So we really want to pray for you that you have the wisdom, and you get the wisdom straight from the Word of God, and that you're able to handle all these situations and these topics and navigate, you know, and train your child in the way they should go, you know, how God wants you to do it. But we love you guys. Please, we are not getting after any parents or after any kids. This is really to just open up your eyes a bit.
It'll make our job a lot easier too.
Yeah. But this is just to open up your eyes a bit about what your kids are really being exposed to, even in quarantine. Even when things are social distancing, even when things are weird and not normal right now, they are getting exposed to a lot of wicked things. And
even look at the percentages of how much phone usage has gone up during this quarantine time.
So let's just pray real quick for all the parents, and then we can tune off. God, we thank you for your word. We thank you because you have instructed us to train up a child in the way they should go, and you have made a promise with us that you will not let them go to waste, or you will not let them depart from your way, Father. And I just pray for every parent that is listening or that will listen to this message, that you give them the wisdom, the authority, the confidence, Father, words of knowledge, words of wisdom to be able to navigate this situation with their children, Father. That it is not too late for any child, it is not too late for any parent, that they can start now, and that you give them divine wisdom and the right words to speak to their children, Lord. We thank you, and in your name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Love you guys.
We love you guys. Hope you have a great weekend this Sunday morning. Also, if you don't know, if you're a young adult, we're having a service for young adults Sunday night. Pastor Ryan will be speaking, so I'm very excited for that. There will be worship, regular service. Is that at?
I'm excited for the worship. That's what I'm excited for.
What time is that at? 6?
I'm doing the worship. What?
What time is that at?
I don't know what time it is at.
Is it 6 or 7, Lainey? Do you know? I think it's 6 too. But if we don't, just follow City Youth. Not City Youth.
City Young Adults.
City Young Adults on Instagram, and that's the post that is on there. But there is a service for young adults this Sunday night. But besides that, we love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all on Sunday.
Go Bills!
We hope you enjoyed today's service. You can always rewatch this message on our Facebook and YouTube archives. Download our podcast app to hear other messages like this one. We love you, and we hope you have a great week. Follow us on social media at CITC Dallas on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For more information about what's going on in church in the city, visit our website at citcdallas.com.